In this video, I'm going to show you how to place a rear brake caliper on this Dodge Ram 1500. These are located behind your rear wheels. Let's get started. With the truck safely raised and supported, use a 22mm socket, remove the lug nuts, and then remove the wheel. With a 10mm wrench or socket, remove the 2 bolts holding the caliper onto the bracket. Pull this off the rest of the way. We'll take this bolt off as well, and then remove your caliper from the bracket assembly. We'll set this aside so it doesn't put pressure on the brake hose. I'll set it up right on top of the rear axle. And now you'd want to remove your pads. Simply slide them out of their bracket. The inner and the outer are the same in this case, so no need to keep them separated. And for the inner one, you may need a small pry tool just to get this out. There we go, set those aside. And now use a 21mm socket and remove the 2 bolts holding this bracket onto the axle. Leave this in a couple threads to hold the bracket while I remove the lower. Take those out, take your bracket off. Take your new caliper bracket and line it up with the axle. Slide your 2 bolts in, start them in. We'll snug these down. And we'll torque them to 100 foot-pounds. On the top and the bottom of this caliper bracket, we're going to use a little bit of silicone paste that is rated for high temperatures or for brakes, and apply it right here where the clips go that sit on top of the bracket. Now you want to make sure you don't get any of this grease on the rotor. Just put a thin layer on, and then you want to take your anti-rattle clip. It is directional. One side will be wider than the other, so if it doesn't fit, you got the wrong side. Clip it on. Just like that. We'll do the same to the bottom. We'll take our brake pads, slide them in to the bracket, start it at an angle like this, and then push it in. Now you may have to pry out on these little tabs so you can let the brake pads slide in. A small pry tool or pocket screwdriver may be necessary. There we go. These are pretty tight, which is normal, but you might have to pry them out. And we'll do the same to the outer pad. So it doesn't technically matter which one you put where, but if you took the pad off the inside, put it back on the inside. Same with the outer one, because the pads and the rotors are seated and worn together. On the new caliper, what you'll want to do is push these slide pins out one at a time, take them out of their boot. We're going to add a little bit of that silicone paste that's rated for brakes, or just brake grease in these boots. That'll help the slider pins slide nice and smoothly over time. And then of course I'm going to add a thin layer to this. You can't put too much because it's a tight fit in here and it'll just get wiped off, but I do want to put a nice thin layer on it. Take my brush and stick it right in here. I'm going from the other side as well. Whatever I have left on my brush, I will just put on the slider pin. Now it doesn't matter which end you start putting it in through, as long as you can get it started. Sometimes this can get a little tricky, especially now that it's all greased up. Oh, there we go. That went in. You want to make sure the boot seats in that little groove, both top and bottom. We'll wipe off any extra grease. Make sure this moves smoothly. That's great. We'll do the same to the other side. Now take your caliper, slide it over the pads and over the bracket. Make sure that these slider pins are pushed out of the way so that it can line up with the bolt holes. We'll get the 2 bolts reattached. These new bolts are 12mm in size, by the way. We'll snug them up and then we'll come back and torque them. Torque these to 22 foot-pounds. Let's remove the banjo bolt with the 2 washers provided. There we go. We'll take one of the washers off, but leave one on. With a collection bucket underneath and a 15mm socket, remove the banjo bolt off of the old caliper. We'll just let that drain into the bucket. Ensure that no copper washers stayed on the brake hose, and then we'll take our banjo bolt with one of those copper washers that we left on and slide it through the hose. Then on the other side, put on the other copper washer, sandwiching the hose in between the two. And then you want to start the brake hose onto the caliper. This new banjo bolt is going to be an 11 millimeter in size, and we're going to bottom it out, make it snug, and then torque it. Torque this banjo bolt to 21 foot-pounds. What you're aiming to do is squeeze those copper washers a little bit. That's going to create a nice tight seal. Let's open up our bleeder screw and do a gravity bleed. Use a pocket screwdriver. Help yourself to popping off this bleeder screw cover, and use an 11 millimeter wrench and break this bleeder screw free. Now, the gravity bleed will allow gravity to naturally pull brake fluid down into the caliper, fill it up, and push all of the air out through the bleeder screw. The gravity bleed should take care of most, if not all, of the air that's in this brake line and in the system. However, at the end of the video, you'll see how to do a full manual brake bleed, which is recommended and most likely necessary for your application. For now, though, let's just wait for our gravity bleed to be done. And we have a steady trickle of brake fluid here, which is perfect. We'll close off our bleeder screw, snug it up. Clean off any excess brake fluid that may have dripped. Use brake parts cleaner if needed. This one stayed pretty clean. And cap it off with the cap. And at this point is when you would do your full manual brake bleed. Let's reinstall the wheel. Push it on all the way. Install all 5 lug nuts, and then we'll bottom them out in a cross pattern. Now you want to torque the wheel in a cross pattern also to 130 foot-pounds. Double check them all. Wheel is tight. Now let's top off our brake fluid. Under the hood, on the driver's side near the firewall, you'll see your brake master cylinder reservoir. The max line is right about here where it starts curving up. You want to unthread the cap. If there's a lot of debris on here, wipe it down first. Take that off and put .3 brake fluid in all the way till it reaches the max line. Right there. Cap it off, tighten it up, and off you go.
Using a clean rag, we're going to clean all around our cap, getting rid of any of the dirt and debris. Remove your cap. The cap usually tells you which fluid to put in. This one is not. We're going to be using .3 fluid in this system. We're going to put that cap to the side. We're going to use our fluid extractor, and we're going to extract all of the old fluid from this master cylinder. Fill the master cylinder to the full line. Fill to the max line and reinstall your cap. We're going to start here on our first wheel in the right rear. Then we're going to move to our second one, which is going to be our left rear. Moving on to our right front, and then finally our left front. Here at the first wheel, we're going to remove our bleeder cap. I'm going to use an 11 millimeter wrench, and we're going to put it over that bleeder. Then we're going to install our bleeder bottle. We're going to have an assistant pop in the car, and they're going to pump up the brakes for us. Once they pump up the brake, they're going to hold it. We're going to crack our bleeder free. Their foot is going to go to the floor. Once they hit the floor, they're going to let us know, and then we're going to close our bleeder back up. While we're bleeding it, you're going to see all of the fluid coming out of the hose into our bottle. We're going to continue this process until we have nice clean fluid with no bubbles coming out of all of our calipers. Go ahead and pump them up. Go ahead and pump them up. Hold it. And one more time. Hold it. 4. And that'll be our last time. We had nice clean fluid with no bubbles coming out of our hose. We're going to remove the hose from our bleeder. Remove your wrench. Using a clean rag with some parts cleaner, clean up the area if you made any mess, and reinstall your bleeder cap. After we're done bleeding the other side, we'll see you at the master cylinder. Remove the cap, and we're going to top off our master cylinder. Top it off to the max line. Reinstall the cap. Now we're at the right front wheel. Remove the bleeder cap. Install the wrench. Install your bleeder bottle. Go ahead and pump them up. Pump them up. And that time we had the nice clean fluid coming out of our hose. We're going to go ahead and remove our bleeder bottle, remove our wrench, clean the area if needed, and reinstall our cap. Repeat this process on the left front wheel, and then we'll see you at the master. Remove the cap, and we're going to top off our master cylinder. Top it off to the max line. Install the cap onto the master cylinder. Torque the wheels to 130 foot-pounds in a star pattern, and you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.